I went to the chiropractor this morning, and he said, "You're so aligned."
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias live from Studio K. Yeah, the sign's right behind me. Brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Make sure to download the Circle K app today to become a member of the Inner Circle for free. Dillon Brooks. If he's not on your team, you hate him. Kings fans had a meltdown about Dillon Brooks last night. Heck, DeMar DeRozan melted down as well because of Dillon Brooks. Suns fans in the first half melted down because of Dillon Brooks shooting. But guess what? Dillon Brooks is that guy. Dillon Brooks is what the Phoenix Suns want to be. Game 1 last night was a microcosm of what the season's going to be. When you look at Dillon Brooks, that is what this Phoenix Suns team's going to be. Sometimes it ain't going to be pretty. All right? Sometimes it is not going to be the sexiest brand of basketball. There will be missed shots. There will be times where it looks like you are the lesser talented team on any given night. But it also will come back full swing because you work your ass off, because you play defense, because you go out there and give it everything you've got night in, night out, and are not afraid to make adjustments. That's what Dillon Brooks did in the first game against the Kings. Dillon Brooks was the difference maker there. Dillon Brooks was the guy that got this team back in it with the way he plays, that was infectious in terms of the defensive side for his teammates, was the guy that said, nah, DeMar DeRozan may be hot, but I'm going to get so far in his head that he's going to lose his mind. And that is exactly what Dillon Brooks did throughout that game. And that's exactly who this Phoenix Suns team is. They're going to annoy the hell out of so many freaking teams in the NBA just simply by showing up and working harder than them. It's not just me that feels this way about Dillon Brooks and what he's done. Dillon himself talked about wearing down teams and what that means.
I shot it bad to begin with. But, the fans stuck with it. I know Phoenix brings out the crowd every single night. We appreciate our fans sticking with us. It's how we play. If we started off better, it could have been a whole different game. But, we fought, we clawed, we stood together. Our bench group brought us in. Grayson played well, CG, and Royce. Mark, coming back from injury was key. And, that's how we play. We figure it out, and we play tough, we play physical, and, we listen to each other on that floor.
Fight, claw, play physical, listen to each other. The crowd was in it. That is the polar opposite of what we saw last year. Last year was a team that was built for the marquee. This is a team that was built for the back alley. The team that is going to grind you down over time. And you know what I loved about Dillon Brooks? He said he didn't play well, and he gave all the credit to his teammates, despite the fact that his grittiness, his tenacity was a big part of why they got back in. But he is the representation, the embodiment, at least in game one, of what this Suns team wants to be. And Coach Ott talked about it after the game, just how much Dillon Brooks is setting that tone.
He puts in the work. I've said it multiple times. I've never been around a guy that works harder. Again, he was in the gym before shoot-around today. I think multiple times he's been here at the arena when no one else is, not on a game night. Not surprised. And that's who he is. He struggles early. He's like, I got to get the ball up. He figures out himself. That's what really good professional basketball players do. And we're going to ride with him when he's missing because we can't hop on when he's only making. So we're everything he's about is what we want to be about. It's not a surprise because of the work he's put in.
Everything he's about is what we want to be about. He works harder than anybody. This is exactly what this team has preached since May. And we're getting it. And granted, okay, you beat the Kings by 4 points. The Kings are not supposed to be world beaters. But you came back from being down 20. And my friend John Gambadoro, he looked it up and he put this on Twitter. Last year, after their 8-1 start, the Suns only came back once from being down 15 or more. And we know for a fact they were down by 15 or more a hell of a lot when it came to last season. Last year's team would have curled up in the corner and folded. Last year's team would not have figured out how to get back in this game because I'm not sure they would have cared enough. But this year's team is built like Dillon Brooks, and Devin Booker discussed just that.
I mean, that's part of his MO, and we need that. It's definitely something that we didn't have a lot of last year. Just getting everybody riled up, getting everybody in tune to the game, and you can't teach that stuff, and you can't value it because it's super important.
Devin Booker has a way of saying the quiet thing out loud, but still saying it quiet enough where you're like, did he just do that? Yeah, he just said last year they didn't have that toughness. They were weak. They were weak-minded last year. Not Devin Booker, but a lot of the roster was. This team isn't. Dillon Brooks, Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Mark Williams, Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, Colin Gillespie, Royce O'Neal. These are guys that were built to just play hard. They were built to just try to outwork people. Because as much as we look at Devin Booker as a star now, when he came into the league, there were people that doubted him. I mean, even after he scored 70, there were people that doubted him. Colin Gillespie's a guy that's fought for everything that he's had and an opportunity to actually be on an NBA roster. Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, the same kind of thing. Oso Ighodaro is a guy that people said could never play in the NBA because he had no jump shot. Still doesn't, but he finds a way. Ryan Dunn fights for minutes every night. And what he did in the first half of last night's game was what was kind of the difference between them being down 20 and being down 30 or more. Offensive rebounds. This team was unbelievable. Doubled the Kings in offensive rebounds. You know what offensive rebounding is? Heart and hustle. It's nothing more than that. It's trying. Some people joking online that this team had more offensive rebounds last night than they did all season. I mean, mathematically not true, but effort-wise, yeah, that was more effort than we saw on the offensive glass all year. This team is built after the mentality of Dillon Brooks. This team is a reflection of that kind of attitude. And yeah, it won't always be pretty. Sometimes things will stall out. But you can outwork anybody. And it doesn't cost anything to do that. Just a little bit of effort, a little bit of heart, a little bit of giving a damn. And that's what the Phoenix Suns have this year that they haven't in a while. We're rooting for a team that's predicated on having an edge, playing defense, and outworking anybody. I think that's one of the first times we can say that in Phoenix. It feels damn good. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the dreads behind the Mac, the beautiful beard behind the Mac. It's Kevo. Kevin, how are you, my friend?
Hello.
I'm sorry we had to get you up so early on a Thursday morning.
You know, it's all good. It's not too early. It's almost lunchtime, Espo, to be quite frank.
I mean, the mustache behind the Mac, apparently the FBI knocked on his door this morning. Something about poker. I don't know. But we think we'll bail him out by tomorrow.
Yeah, we should be able to do that. Not so sure about bailing out Chauncey Billups.
That will probably be problematic. What do you make of the Suns' new attitude? Do you like that we are now rooting for a team that is basically going to put on the villain costume that I like to say this is the attitude era of the Phoenix Suns?
I mean, look, I was thinking about this on the way in, Espo. Like, a lot of Suns fans last year, what was one of their many complaints? The team was soft. The team didn't care. Bradley Beal, PTO Beal, whatever you wanted to make fun of him for. And I think I saw people, and we're going to get to this a little bit later in this episode, but like overreacting to the first half on social media and overreacting to Dillon Brooks's, I'll just call it style of play, right? It's not everybody's get down, and I get that. But I think that when you have a player in Dillon Brooks that can kind of galvanize a roster, can lead you, can fight for you and your team, I think I'd much rather have that than the problems that the Suns had last year, right? Of a team that you felt like might not be trying as hard as they should be trying. This year's Suns will not have that problem, and for that, I'm very thankful, Espo. I don't know if it's going to end up in a bunch of wins, but it's definitely going to end up being a lot more entertaining, and it's something you can build off of. I said it earlier in the chat. Like, Dillon Brooks is a great player to have on a team that is either rebuilding, retooling, or like trying to mentor young people. And I think the Suns are a mix of kind of all of that. And I think for that reason, Dillon Brooks is going to be a fan favorite this year.
Deborah said in the chat, one of our bias, thanks for being here. She said, you could tell they were engaged, unlike last season. That's the encapsulation. That's the Cliff Notes. That's the whatever the young kids use. That's the Wikipedia entry, the Chat GPT definition of why it felt so damn different last night. And Kingus Dingus, gotta love that name, said, trying to decide if I get a Williams or a Brooks jersey. The answer is yes. Just get both. Why not? Splurge. There's so many different styles. You can enjoy both. Deborah also says, I want to see how they do on the road. Look, to Kevo's point, this is not a team that proved themselves to be world beaters last night. Let's not kid ourselves on that fact. But they showed that you can't give up on them because they're not going to give up on themselves. That you need to lock in because there'll be some interesting swings in these games. They got a tough sled. They play the Clippers and the Nuggets back-to-back on the road Friday, Saturday. I think there's a possibility they go 1-1. I mean, I'd love to say, yeah, they're going 2-0. They're starting off 3-0. Maybe they will, but you look at it, the Clippers, I don't know what the hell they did last night. I mean, they played like Utah is. Crap, all right? That's, the city, not the team. The state, not the team. And that was, I mean, they lost by 30 points. The Clippers are going to be a weird team this year. They're going to have a hell of a chip on their shoulder going into Friday's game against the Suns. You know, Bradley Beal is gonna chuck it if he can actually play. I mean, he only had he only had 5 points in whatever the hell they did on Wednesday night. So maybe there's a path to victory there. Maybe the Clippers aren't as good as everybody wanted us to believe. Maybe they're not as deep as everybody wanted us to believe. The Nuggets is going to be tough, and Mark Williams on minutes restrictions going against Zubac, going against the Joker on Saturday. It's tough. Let's not lie, but we're going to see what this team's made of again. 2 early tests, 2 good tests, but they're deep this year. Back-to-backs don't scare me as much when you're not playing with the 3rd oldest roster in the league. So there's going to be opportunity this weekend, but I wanted to circle back to last night's game. First, before the game, they're trying to start this new tradition where they have somebody take a ceremonial first shot, an honored guest that'll be out there. Last night, it was Suns legend Amari Stoudemire that was out there. And they had him shoot a free throw. I believe it was on the north end of the court, whatever end it was, and he missed because a free throw is tougher than you think when you have when you're dealing with somebody that isn't a pro right now. He also was built like he was ready to go to WWE. He looked like David Boston, the old Cardinals wide receiver, after maybe the clear and the cream. I'm not saying he's using a performance enhancer. He's just jacked.
But he could if he wanted to now.
I mean, why not? I don't know if red wine baths count as performance enhancers, but the dude is massive. He missed, and on that end of the court, I believe teams shot between the Suns and the Kings on the end of the court that he missed. I believe it was 53% from the line. Suns were over there in the first half. They were 7-13. And then the Kings were over there, and it was abysmal in the second half for the Kings. So I don't know if Amari Stoudemire has jinxed that free throw line, if it's a one-game thing. But I highly recommend we make it a layup moving forward, especially depending on the quote-unquote dignitaries that we're going to have do this. Because if it's like a first pitch in baseball, we might get into like media members and other people. And we all know how that goes when media members play basketball, thanks to the Celtics and the Nuggets, who showed us that isn't a great idea.
Scalabrini didn't play.
If the Suns actually do this, we're stacking the deck. Frank Kaminsky is going to play on our team. I'll hire him to a one-day contract here at PHNX to do it. But the other thing I found interesting about the game was in large part the effort in that second half that got them back into it. In particular, on the defensive end of the floor. I mean, in the second half, the Kings shot 36% and only had 45 points overall. And that was a huge shift from the 71 points that they had in the first half. And our guy, Stephen Prigion-Gardner, who's out there, asked a great question of Jordan Ott after the game about what adjustments they made. And I loved what Coach Ott had to say.
You mentioned the second half made an adjustment. It felt like there was more switching. You held them to 45 points on 36% from the field. Can you speak to just kind of how they responded to the adjustment that you did make and what kind of went into that decision that was made?
I knew you would pick up on it. That's what we did. We tried to take out. They figured out a rhythm to our pick and rolls. We thought early. Schroeder, the kickouts. Levine hit the pull up there at the end of the second quarter. We just felt like they got into a rhythm. We decided to make an adjustment. Easy for Oso. Oso can do it. We knew he could do it, but we still don't want them to find a rhythm. So we still want to switch and play with the physicality and aggressiveness. And then when you have Mark, 7 feet tall, come out, we stuck with it. And his ability to, he showed us that he can guard those tough guard. Those guys are as tough to guard as anyone in the league collectively across. You got Malik and Schroeder, and of course Levine and DeRozan. So that's what we did. We ended up switching, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as much about the coverage as our compete level.
Holy hell, what is it like to have a coach that actually gives a long answer talking about basketball strategy and a coach that actually makes adjustments at halftime? Have we died and gone to basketball heaven? Or at least the standard for NBA coaches? It's so nice that Jordan Ott is doing these things, and you could see it in that second half and just how much what was said at halftime, those changes that were made to the defense, even in just the simple switching on pick and rolls, how much of an impact it played because defense got them back in the game. Sure, they shot better, but even if they had shot better and they couldn't stop the Kings, it wasn't going to matter. Their defense led the way. Their defense was what put them back in position to win. Holding the Kings to 36% shooting in that second half was exactly what they needed to jumpstart their offense too. Easy steals to easy baskets. This is the Suns' identity, and Jordan Ott is the mind, the brains behind it, and is capable of adjusting on the fly. Devin Booker talked about the second half too, and I loved what he had to say.
Yeah, it brought the arena back to life. It brought our bench back to life, and I think it was super special for us to deal with that in the first game, seeing what you can do and being down 20 points and flipping it. and going on a run and doing it together.
Doing it together. I get it. Game 1. All these things are great to hear. Will it be there at game 82? But everybody's like, it's just preseason. You can't buy into that. Well, guess what? Game 1, they started to define that culture, that identity. They started to do everything that they had promised, and everything starts with the first step. Every culture, every attitude, every team that surprises has to start with game 1. And the Suns showed more in game 1 to make us believe than we saw in almost 82 last year, where we believe. I want to get to BCOM Clearly's super chat right now before we get going. One of our biased and one of our most unique biased in the chat. He says, Brooks got to come over sometime. At least he didn't talk about Brooks's cake. If you watch PHNX Suns, you know that BCOM clearly is more concerned about cake than somebody at a bakery. We'll leave it at that. Thank you to all the bias in the chat. Sandman, Aaliyah, Dagoon, Deborah, Michael, Kingus Dingus, Chance Berg, just the entire crew that showed up, X-rated. All right. Well, hi, welcome. As well, Stanford in there. All you, hit that like button. If you haven't already become a member as well, if you have not become a supporter club member, hit that join button. It's just $5 a month. And you're going to get access to all sorts of unbelievable emojis. There's an ahoy hoy in there. There's an SMW. If you watch the Sun show, you know that's the Suns must win. The aligned emoji, all sorts of things. Get in there, become a supporter club member. Deborah, hit some of those emojis so that people know what it is for us in there in the chat, and anybody that's a supporter club member. On the other side, we're talking more Suns, but we're talking about, holy hell, the fun is back, and we've got video proof right after this. Oh, we're telling you about my friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. 4,500 slots and live games on the floor. So if you like to get your gambling on, they got you covered. Plus, they got the Valley's biggest sports book. You want to be there. It's the biggest and the best, but there's so much more when it comes to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and their 4 Valley locations: Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vequiva, and Santan Mountain. Unbelievable dining. And who would you trust more than a fat man to tell you about food? I know my way around a good restaurant, and they've got multiple of them out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and in particular at Wild Horse Pass. And if you were looking for a place for a great staycation, that resort out there is second to none. The pool's great. Like I said, the restaurants, you got the gambling, you got places to watch sporting events. They've got the concert and comedy venue out there, which is unbelievable. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to see my guy Ben Folds in December. Cannot wait to be out there for that. It's an unprecedented level of entertainment excitement you won't find anywhere else in the desert. And yeah, I'm even including that place, 400 miles north of here, that's in the desert as well. It's unbelievable. We know that they have set the bar so damn high. So belly up to that bar and show us what next level is all about. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. And Circle K, I mean, there's 3 things I love in my life. The Suns and Arizona sports, my family, and Circle K. And it's not in that order. You can figure out what the actual order is to that. But Circle K is where I go to get my gas. It's where I go to get my coffee. It's where I go to get some Coke Zero. It's where I go to get meals. And I'm a member of the Inner Circle, so I can save on all of that right now. If you sign up today, it's a fuel day. You're going to save 40 cents off per gallon. Where you can get that kind of deal anywhere else in life. That's a huge savings, and it's super easy to do. It's for free. And you're also going to save on Polar Pops, Frosters, Gatorade, all sorts of things, and their meal deals. So join the Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply like everything in life. We know how that goes. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for more details. Chance Berg in the chat says, Shazam, I miss Al McCoy. I do too. We miss the legend. That's why he's always here on the desk with us on the program, a personal friend of mine. We miss him, but our friend John Bloom doing a hell of a job and as the radio voice of the Suns now. But Chance, thanks for dropping in the chat, being a member of the Bias and talking some Suns with us here today. But I told you before the break, the defense is great. The attitude's great. But you know what's even better? That this basketball team is having fun again. Before the game, they're out there dancing. We haven't seen this team dance and have fun, since 2021, 2022? I mean,
look at Man.
The vibes are back. I'm surprised Man can dance like that. Because
I am not.
Usually those guys look like Bambi having just been born. When you're 7 foot something, it doesn't look good. But, I mean, he's all in there. And Dillon Brooks right in the middle of it. Ryan Dunn, you're going to love it.
Royce O'Neal just catching a vibe.
I love it. Devin Booker somewhere in the corner, just too cool for school, which I don't mind because that's always been his MO. You be yourself. But Dillon getting those vibes. This is before the game, and I love that. But it wasn't just before the game. This team also stepped up to celebrate Jordan Ott's first career win as an NBA head coach.
Jordan Ott. Yes, together on three. 1, 2, 3. Together.
I love it. Alignment's become the joke word because it's been said so much, but that is a team that already seems like it's playing for each other. They apparently, as a team, put together a video of Jordan Ott's family congratulating for whenever he got that first win, and they played it for Jordan Ott last night. They're having fun. This team seemed devoid of all fun. I mean, hell, they barely seem to like each other at times. We barely seem to like them as fans. This team's damn likable right now. And I love that Jordan Ott was joking about that wasn't exactly warm water. Well, guess what, buddy? You get your first NBA career win. You don't get to choose what kind of water it is. Your team does. And they baptized you into the NBA coaching tree there last night. An amazing comeback win. But, man, does it not feel good to watch that and see a team that actually wants to be around each other? I'm guessing they're hanging out. I'm guessing they're going places. I'm guessing that the vibes are high, and I hate that word. But it is the only word to describe what's going on there. So kudos to everybody from the top, Ishbia, Brian Gregory, all throughout the organization who preached this, who set the standard. It may not lead to more than mid-30s in wins. It feels a hell of a lot better, and it's a foundation. You got to start from somewhere to build on, and if you don't build that foundation strong, the whole thing's going to crumble. You got a foundation that's being built and being poured right now. That doesn't mean that people didn't freak out last night, though. Oh my God! You could have done a whole psychology class over at ASU about last night's freaking swing of emotions. And I've told you, I'm bipolar. So when I say it was bipolar, I'm saying it from experience, not in a rude way. That was a lot of bipolar behavior last night from Suns fans. In that first and second quarter, there were so many people ready to already write it off, say it's done, run Matt Ishbia out of town, tell Devin Booker that he's overpaid. Do we have the tweet from friend of the program, from our friend of the program, Ben Garcia? I love Ben. I love arguing with Ben. But this was an instant freezing cold take. This is from the first half. He said, honestly, just get Devin Booker off the floor at this point. Not really. But damn, he's costing this team right now. Really? I mean, I get hyperbole. I get hot takes. There were a lot like that last night. Come on, man. All of you. Let's not do this again. This will be a team that does this. It's a roller coaster ride, but buckle up. I mean, heck, I was sitting next to Eric Ruby for the whole game live on mic.
Speaking of Eric Ruby, Espo, not to cut off your magic, we have an update to this specific tweet from Ben Garcia. So Ben Garcia puts this out about 14 hours ago. Eric Ruby got a hold of it and asked him for an update. And they went back and forth a little bit, all friendly jabs, of course, nothing crazy. But they decided that if they were to settle anything, it would be on the basketball court.
Do we have to do this?
And Eric said, don't tempt me. Benjamin Garcia said, consider yourself tempted. I'm not kidding. We can do this next week. Let me know time and place. I'll be there. And we're bringing cameras. And then this happened. It's official. Ben Garcia Show and I, Eric Ruby, will face off on the court in early November, taking bets in my DMs.
Come on, Cash is going to be coming after you next. Don't take bets in the DM. And let me also say, is there a more... Nobody wants to watch that. We've been subjected to bad basketball for years. We just started getting good basketball back. I don't need to watch two media members in their 20s try to play basketball. I love you, Eric. Ben, you're my boy too. Nobody needs to see this sad kind of violence is going to take place out there. You're gonna set basketball back 3 decades.
And Wemby just sent it into the future.
I mean, yeah. Wemby's trying to actually drag this game into new heights, and you two are like, nah, we want to take it back to where plumbers were playing basketball. When that's who we're pro basketball. I don't need to see this. As a matter of fact, don't bring cameras. Don't bring witnesses. You played on a Nerf hoop for all I care. Just don't drag all of us into it. Because none of us want to watch you two play basketball. We barely wanted to watch that Suns team last year. Now we got a team we want to watch. I don't need to see you guys play ball. I don't need to see either of you in shorts. I got to see it enough. I'm good. We're all good. Thanks, but no thanks. And don't take bets on that game because nobody's a winner in that in any way, shape, or form. Did we have any other tweets? I need a palate cleanser here. Oh, yeah. Eddie Gonzalez at Banksy says, scrappy, tough top 10 defense just gave up 71 in the season to start the season. That doesn't even make sense. In the season to start the season. Some of you are going to have issues have to issue some apologies to people who tried to tell you. Go to Houston and leave us the hell alone. We don't care. Chirp, chirp, chirp. We don't care. Go somewhere else. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to have fun with this. We all know it's over. Wemby evolved in front of us. I don't play Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure that he's evolving to that top level, and he's going to destroy us all. You ain't catching Wemby at some point. So let's have our little fun here. Go enjoy expectations in Houston that are going to fall short. We'll enjoy our time here in Phoenix, whatever it's going to be. I think that, Kevin, do we have anything else? Did we find out that Derek has challenged Torey Lovello to a batting home run derby? Is there anything else that I need to know about going on around here?
No, I don't think so. Espo.
Are you taking on the ASU basketball team today?
Oh no.
I'll take bets in the DMs. I have you.
I'll take on Totri.
Come on, that's not a fair matchup.
Who knows? Maybe Totri's a hooper.
Come on, anybody would take on Totri. I don't think I've ever seen Totri in sneakers. It's usually flip flops.
He wears those Nike Blazers sometimes.
Poor Blazers. If they don't play poker face at every NBA arena when they announce the Blazers, what are we doing in this world? All right, I'm going to get out of here before I say something that gets me in trouble. That is another edition of Southwest Buys in the books. A big thank you to Kevo behind the Mac, doing it great as always. You can follow him at Kevo Posts. Is that correct?
Yeah, KEVOPOSTS.
There we go. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports. You can follow me at Espo. And the vibes are high. I'm not going to dance, but at least the Suns are. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.